You are listening to Hillary Topper on Air. And now, here's your host, Hillary Topper.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hillary Topper on Air. I'm Hillary Topper, and I'm so excited for today's episode because we're tackling an issue that so many of us can relate to, and that's knee pain. Now, if you've been following the show, you know that I've been dealing with knee pain for years. It's been incredibly frustrating, especially as someone who loves to stay active and doesn't want to slow down. Recently, a product called KneeMo by Soma TX Design came into my radar. It was sent to me for review, but since I've been using a Misha device, I wasn't able to try it out. Instead, I gave it to my training buddy, and honestly, he hasn't stopped talking about how much he loves it. He said it's made a huge difference for him, which got me thinking I needed to learn more about this product and the brains behind it. That's why I'm so thrilled to introduce today's guests, Dr. Tom and Dr. Jenny, two incredible minds who developed KneeMo. They've dedicated their careers to understanding knee health, and this device is their latest innovation to help people manage pain and stay active. Check it out. Welcome to the show, Dr. Tom Andriacchi and Dr. Jenny Hledik. It's great to have you both. So, to kick things off, what exactly is KneeMo, and who is this device designed for?
KneeMo is a smart wearable device that we developed to help people who have chronic knee pain stay active. So I have one here with me it's two motion sensing bands. You put one below your knee and one above your knee. And its motion sensing technology automatically senses your individual movement patterns, and then it processes in real time that motion data through an advanced algorithm to apply intermittent vibration that's precisely timed to your steps. So in real time, it's using its smart technology to adapt. And why intermittent vibration? Vibration, we know, can reduce the amount of pain that's perceived by our brains. That's something called the gate control theory of pain. And we developed this for people who have and are struggling with chronic knee pain, but they still want to stay active. And I think we all probably know someone in our life who that is, right? Yourself, myself, right? Who deal with knee pain, but we don't want to give up on our activities. And actually, research shows it's actually very important to stay active when you have knee pain for your knee, but also for your overall health. So that's who we developed it for. It was a very long process. I'll let Tom talk about this too, but nearly 10 years to get to this point of developing our technology from our initial concepts through our research and development of it, but we're really excited to have it available now to help people who want to stay active with their knee pain.
Great. Now, Tom, what inspired you to create this KneeMo? I know, Jenny said she had knee pain and you started 10 years ago, but what was the aha moment that led you to creating this wearable device?
The aha moment actually started rather slowly. I have been looking at walking mechanics in people with knee pain for almost 50 years.
Wow.
And these are people with osteoarthritis or knee injuries that are treated either with conventional braces or with injections or with total knee replacements. And one thing that kind of stood out, and it wasn't a quick aha thing. It took some time it seems like aha after the fact, but it's not. People with knee pain typically walk with a stiff knee gait. And that means the knee doesn't flex during the weight-bearing portion of the walking cycle. This reduces pain quickly for them, and it's a positive adaptation. interestingly, other traditional devices like compression bands or braces do a similar thing. They reduce the knee motion, and it has an initial benefit of reducing pain, but it offloads some of the key structures of the knee. And so you get a short-term benefit with those devices by offloading that stress on the knee. But in the long term, the knee needs that stress to maintain its health. And the body needs that activity overall to maintain the overall health of the body. So if we take away that natural motion of the knee, eventually, in the long term, there's progressive changes to the knee that almost are not recoverable. Osteoarthritis will progress more rapidly. The effect of knee injuries may not heal as well. And then the subsequent negative benefit of that is osteoarthritis as well. So one of the things that happens often for people with stiff-kneed gait is the quadriceps muscles atrophy. And the quadriceps muscle, it's on the front of the knee. It's the biggest muscle in your joint. And it's a muscle group of 4 muscles. That's why it's called the quadriceps muscle. And what that muscle does is it produces an exquisite, what I would call as an engineer, an exquisite interaction between the natural movement of the knee and the stability that the knee needs for normal function. So if you take that away, the knee will never get back to that. So one of the questions I often ask is what makes KneeMo different than traditional devices? Well, it's not a brace. We call it a mobilizer. And in fact, if you look at my hat, the logo for KneeMo is a body in motion, moving. So the other question we also get is the investment. KneeMo, because it has technology, why is it worth that investment? And well, the simple answer is yes. And I'll tell you, let me say a few more words before we go on. And the main reason is it restores that natural motion that the body needs, especially the muscle function. And it gives the person using it the overall health benefits of staying active. Now, why is it expensive? Well, it has to do some complicated things to restore motion and reduce pain during movement. One of them, it has to sense the motion so it knows what it is. And it's smart enough, we call it a smart device, as Jenny said, because it senses that motion and uses that information to provide that vibration stimulus that's synchronized to the patient's particular movement in general. And we use something what's called gait control theory, which is a way of controlling pain by providing an external stimulus like vibration. And we were uncertain in the lab, which we were, as Jenny mentioned, was 10 years in the works, that it would work. So we really went through an extensive clinical trial, and we had it reported in peer-reviewed journals because we wanted objective reviews of the trial. And the overall evidence was so strong that it worked. We said we had to get this product, this prototype we have in the lab, out to the public. So, we looked at it and said, we got to call it KneeMo because KneeMo means knee in motion. And that's why we call it that. And the answer is it worth it? Yes. Because in the short term, it gives quick benefits to pain relief during movement. But in the long term, it restores the patient's ability to be active, participate in sports, do rehab, because it takes away the pain while they're moving. So there's really and one of the other fringe benefits, and it's not necessarily fringe, people need activity to maintain mental health. And so it gives all of those things. So absolutely, it's worth it. So it's more expensive than just a band you strap around your knee, but some of the bigger braces are in the same price range as this. But this is something.
How much is it?
Right now, Jenny's been
It
hammering
retails
that.
at $4.99.
Oh, that's, yeah.
But and like Tom said, and I think maybe I showed it here. At first glance, you might be like this, I have something kind of similar in my bag, and I think that's what Tom went to. But what we really wanted to do was develop something that was different than what was out there, that would help you and keep you moving, and use that smart technology that you can't see, but it's all inside of it, that would sense your motion and really be precisely to your movement, right? So it's going to adjust. I'm going to walk differently than you're going to walk, or when I'm jogging, it's going to automatically adjust to make sure that it's still providing that right stimulus at the right time, that we showed in our research can improve pain and also improve function.
Something. It's so interesting. So let's go into the science a little bit. Can you talk about what the research uncovered and why clinical validation is so crucial for consumers to consider this product?
Yeah, and I think, there are a lot of products, right? There are a lot of products out there that are for knee pain. And I think as consumers, and we're all consumers, it's hard to know what's being promised to you. Is that just marketing hype, or is it actually backed by anything? And for us, it was really important that it was verified by the clinical research and really grounded in science. And so when we first had this initial idea, we did our first study in the lab, and that was in people who had knee pain that was linked to reduced quadriceps muscle function. So if you've had an ACL tear, if you had a meniscus tear, or if you have knee osteoarthritis, it's populations we know have pain, and they also have reductions in how they use their quadriceps muscles, which are so important for our joint health. And so we had them come into the lab, and we had a motion capture lab. So that means we can objectively measure how people are walking. And we had them put on KneeMo. They didn't know what it was supposed to do. We didn't tell them change your walking in any way. And we found that just in that single session, we saw significant improvements in quadriceps muscles function. 95% of our participants had an immediate improvement in how they were using their quadriceps. So after that, we went on to do a longer study. So this was a longitudinal randomized crossover study. A lot of words, but what that means is that our participants, again, they had knee pain due to those conditions, were either assigned to wear KneeMo for 4 weeks, or they wore a control device. And that was off-the-shelf knee bands that just provide compression. They wore the device they were assigned to for 4 weeks. They came back in for testing, 2 weeks of no device. We call it a washout period. And then they wore the other device. So they wore both of them for 4 weeks. And we saw significant improvements in pain during walking and also going up and down stairs, which can be really difficult when you have knee pain, right? That's something that requires more exertion for your knee. And so we saw significant improvements when they wore KneeMo for 4 weeks. We didn't see that with the control device. And then they also had significant improvements in how they walk. So significant improvements in that quadriceps muscles function during walking, and also when navigating stairs. So better activation going up the stairs, which requires effort, and better control of their movement going downstairs. So we were really excited by this. And these results are what made us want to move forward, so we could bring KneeMo to help other people, not just in the lab, which I think as academic researchers, it's great to develop something, but it's a whole nother beast to get that to a product. And so that's really what took us the time to make sure we could develop something that then would withstand daily life. And so we're at that point now, and we have it available for everyone to use as well.
That's great. I mean, let me ask you something. So by using KneeMo, do you think that people could potentially not have to have knee replacement surgery?
It's going to help with your quadriceps muscles function, which is really important for joint health. The research shows that those are linked: poor quadriceps muscle function, worse degeneration of the joint. But I think what for us is really exciting is it can help people prolong that period, which a lot of people are wanting to try the less invasive things first. And this is an option for them to try so that they potentially can wait. And especially there's a lot of younger people who have had injuries when they are young, which sets them on this pathway to knee osteoarthritis early. And you don't necessarily want to be getting a joint replacement when you're young, right? So it gives them an option to continue to be active, which is what people want to do, and potentially hold off on doing any of those more invasive treatments.
So let's talk about some case studies. Let's
Yeah.
talk about some stories that have really impacted you and stood out as a testament to why this product really works.
I can talk to some of those. So I think for me personally, this is like the best part of developing this is hearing how it's helping people in their everyday life. So we have people who are using it of all different ages. So those younger individuals who had the joint injuries, whether it be from skiing or soccer, and now they're dealing with chronic knee pain. So they're using it to continue jogging or hiking or playing tennis. We have our older individuals who are dealing with knee osteoarthritis now, don't want to necessarily go the pharmaceutical route or want to reduce the amount of pharmaceuticals that they're taking. Maybe aren't ready to try those joint injections yet, or aren't getting the relief that's staying for as long with the joint injection, so they need something extra. The ones who aren't ready to get their knee replacement yet. And they want to use it for, we have people who are using it for badminton, for pickleball, which is so huge right now. And then others who are using it just to do their everyday activities, right? We have one who's telling us they're now back to walking 10,000, 15,000 steps a day without pain. That's huge, right? And this is someone who said they had tried so many different options. We're using sometimes 2 braces at a time. And the problem with that, traditional knee braces, that gets bulky after a while and uncomfortable, and it actually restricts the motion like Tom was talking about. Whereas this, we really wanted it to fit seamlessly into your life. So you didn't have to think about it. It wasn't being cumbersome for you to use. And then we have others who have had a joint replacement, and perhaps, unfortunately, this happens, people have residual pain after their joint replacement. And so we have people who are using it that way too, so they can keep walking, keep being active, even though their joint replacement didn't go quite as perfectly as they wanted it to. Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Tom?
Well, yeah, we have kind of one interesting additional benefit that we didn't anticipate when we first used it. We have here a friend that had stroke a number of years ago, and he recovered pretty well from the stroke, except he lost some ability to walk properly because he couldn't have the perception of where his limb was in space, and especially when it was about to strike the ground. So I said, here, try KneeMo, see if it will do. And what it did, because it senses his motion, it also told him when the foot was about to strike the ground, and it was like a miraculous improvement in his ability to rehab, because the sensory response he was normally having just naturally, it provided for him, and it provided another sensory pathway to allow him to walk after his limitation with the stroke. So, that was interesting. Another person is a tennis player who had a rather severe, what he thought was severe tear of one of the ligaments of the knee, which is the medial collateral. He needed rehab, which meant he needed to stay active and in other words, do stationary bike movement and things like that with the injury. When he tried to do the rehab without KneeMo, it was difficult because it hurt. When he put KneeMo on, he was able to do the rehab, and he rehabbed very quickly. So we have introduced it to therapists that are trying to put patients through a rehab period where it hurts when they do it. And then they tell the patient, go home and do this, and they don't do it because it hurts. Put KneeMo on and you take away some of that pain and they'll do it. So it has those other kinds of benefits as well.
It's interesting as you're talking. I mean, I just know so many people. Jenny, you alluded to the fact that sometimes people get knee replacements and they just don't work, right? And I know 3 people already, and that's just me, who it didn't work for. And I have a cousin who is my age, and she's had 2 knee replacements, and she still cannot walk. I mean, she has problems walking, and I'm just wondering if somebody like that could benefit from this type of technology.
Oh yeah, our longest user of KneeMo is post total knee replacement.
Wow.
He was, and he tried everything. Um, you know, I have some experience in designing knee replacements as well, and so he asked me about, if I could look at his situation. I looked at his X-ray; it looked perfect. The knee was put in perfect. So I'm sure the surgeon was proud because he just looked at the knee. He didn't look at the person walking, and this poor guy had a limp that really incapacitated him. He tried braces, he tried nerve blocks because it looked like it was a nerve problem, and uh, he tried KneeMo, and it was one of our original prototypes when we were testing it in the lab, and he's used it ever since. He gives us one of the testimonies that's on our website as well, and it allows him to get out and walk, which he couldn't do before. So.
That's amazing. That really is amazing. I love that. So for listeners who are thinking about trying it, how easy is KneeMo to incorporate into their daily life? And can users customize it to fit their specific needs?
Yeah, so when we developed it, we wanted it to be really easy for you to use. We didn't want it to be anything that was complicated, that you had to have a long setup process. So KneeMo comes, you put it the one band above your knee, you put the other below, you turn it on and you go. So it does the thinking for you. You don't have to do anything. It's automatically going to sense your motion and immediately start processing that and applying the right vibration to your movement. So, and I think Tom mentioned this before, if you're walking, it's turning that vibration on right before your heel hits the ground to part way through when your foot is in contact with the ground. It turns it off and it goes again. So it's going to stay, if you're speeding up, if you're slowing down, it's going to stay in sync with you. If you decide you want to jog, it's going to go with you. We also wanted it to be a slim design that wouldn't be bulky to use in your daily life. So it's these two small bands. You can wear it on top of your clothes. You can wear it underneath your clothes. And I think that's what a lot of people are appreciating versus the bigger, bulkier motor braces, things like that, that can be uncomfortable to wear after quite a while and also just restrict your motion, right? If you want to be active and then you have a big, bulky brace on, that can be difficult. And then, yes, if you want to customize, you can do that. So KneeMo comes pre-programmed. It's working for your normal walking, but we do have an app, and you just connect KneeMo to your app, and you can choose. For me, I like to go jogging. So I choose that I want to go jogging. It slightly changes the algorithm with how it's applying vibration. So it's going to stay with you. Or if you want to do cycling or pickleball or tennis, there are settings for all of those in there as well. And then if you want to, what feels great for me in terms of vibration, and the vibration, what's nice about it versus some others as well is the stimulation, the vibration feels nice. It feels like a vibration. It's not an electrical stimulation that sometimes don't feel very good to you. And so you can also change the intensity of how strong the vibration is. So some people like it higher than others, or if you want to wear it over your clothes, you might want to increase the vibration versus when you have it directly on your skin. And then in the app, you can also see your activity. How much are you using it? Which I think a lot of people like to see, like how much did I walk today while I was wearing it? And so we do have that available. It's, a free app. You're not paying anything for that, but it's another way to interact. And if you want to customize it for you, you can do that.
So basically, you pay for the device. It's
Mhm.
$4.99 for the device, and that's it. Like you never
That's it.
have to pay again.
Yes.
Oh, that's very
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah. So one time, nothing else.
And looking ahead, what do you see as the long-term potential for KneeMo? Are there other applications for this technology besides knee pain? Are you going to be developing like a shoulder or a, tennis elbow or that type of thing?
You got it. We're working on it.
Yeah. Yes.
I actually, because of the fundamental science in this platform works for all of those kinds of musculoskeletal issues that cause pain or inflammation. So we've mocked up a prototype for a back, for a shoulder.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So We're just waiting for the company to grow enough and generate revenues. Or if anyone's out there that wants to invest, we might consider that as well. So, we're small. You're looking at 2/3 of the company right now in this podcast, so we're still small.
It's a great product, and just a little testimonial, my training buddy used a version of it and he swears by it. He loved it. He wore it every single run and he loved it. So for anybody out there who is struggling with knee pain or knows someone who does, this is a game changer for you. If you want to learn more about KneeMo or give it a try yourself, give us some how to get in touch with you and learn more about KneeMo.
Sure. So the best place to start would be our website, which is KneeMo.com. So the KneeMo.com. You'll find information about the science behind it, the clinical research that we did, and also testimonials from our users and our healthcare practitioners that are using KneeMo. You'll also find out ways to reach out to us if you have any questions. We're always here to help, and we're on social media too. You can look for the KneeMo.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. And this was definitely enlightening. And you know what? If there's a way to alleviate getting surgery, this is definitely a good option.
Yeah, we want to get it out there so it can help as many people as it can. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Yes, yeah, thank you. This was fun. Yeah, thanks for being here.
This show was produced by Hillary Topper and sponsored by the Russo Law Group, Long Island's signature elder law, estate planning, and special needs law firm. For more information, visit vjrussolaw.com. And PlayTry, your multi-sport specialist for all your triathlon needs. They have so many opportunities, including franchising. If you love the sport of triathlon, check out playtry.com and learn more about opportunities, or if you want to shop there, check them out. They've got great prices and they've got amazing customer service.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you, it finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ziprecruiter.com/zip. That's ziprecruiter.com/zip. ziprecruiter.com/zip.